Good morning, children. This is Mrs. Anjum Aleem from Springfields School, Masabtank, biology teacher for class 8. Welcome back. Today, we will continue with the lesson number 2, the cell, the basic unit of life. Now, when we talk about the cells, you know that they are very small in size, so they cannot be seen with the eyes. We have to observe them under the microscope. So you must learn to draw the diagram of this figure of the microscope. It is there in your textbook. Kindly practice it in your classwork. Today we will discuss about the diversity in cells. That is, how different kinds of cells are present. We will learn about them. Now, as I already told you in my previous video, what are unicellular organisms? Living organisms which have a single cell are called as unicellular organisms. That is, their body is made up of only one cell. Small organisms, like example amoeba. The single cell is capable of performing all the life processes like obtaining food, respiration, excretion, growth, reproduction. Now, if you want to know the examples of the unicellular organisms, we have paramecium, we have amoeba, bacteria, and yeast. Their body is just made up of one cell. That is why they are called as the single cell organisms. They are called as the unicellular organisms. Amoeba, you can see the structure of amoeba, chlamydomonas. All these are unicellular organisms. Just one cell. The body is made up of just one cell. You know, children, these finger-like projections in amoeba are called as the pseudopodia. You will learn in higher grades in detail. Then what are multicellular organisms? Living organisms which have more than one cell are called multicellular organisms. Examples everything like human beings, elephant, lion, bird, any example you can take which you can see with your eyes are all multicellular organisms. Basic life processes in multicellular organisms are carried out by a variety of cells. Just have a view. See children, in our body the nerve cells are different which are at the top, then right side red blood cells, then smooth muscles in our arms and legs, then below the skin the adipose cell are present, intestinal cells are present in the intestine, striated muscles, then bone cells. There are so many kinds of cells present in the multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms have different organs. So they are made up of different cells. Our kidneys are made up of different cell. Our brain is made up of different cell. Our bones are made up of different cells. Our blood is made up of different cells. Okay, children? So multicellular organisms have different variety of cells. Now we have talked about the living organisms. Now let us talk about the plants. Now what variety of cells are present in the plants? I told you when a group of cells, similar cells performing the same function, they are called as the tissues. Group of cells performing the similar function are called as tissues. So we will now talk a little bit about the tissues. Now as you can see in this, we are going to see the TS, transverse section of dicot stem. Now children, here the different layers of tissues are present. You may not learn in detail about these different layers, you will learn in grade 9, but I will tell you that for example 4 layers will be present. The outer layer will be called as the epidermis, inner to it is the tissues which are performing the photosynthesis, and inner to that is the tissues that is conducting food and water, and then the center one is called, the plain place is called as the pith, that is the ground tissue. Now here as I told you, epiblemma or epidermis, densely arranged cells with thin cell walls forming the outermost single layer. Epidermis is the outermost single layer. Then cortex. Under the epidermis, cortex is present, which is containing the parenchyma where the photosynthesis actually takes place. Then we have the endodermis, then pericycle, vascular bundles. In that you have xylem and phloem, and of course pith is present. Now this is the diagram of the TS of dicot stem. You can learn the diagram which is there in your textbook. You can learn from there. You need not do so much of labeling. It is from the internet that I have taken this, so you can just learn the diagram which is there in your textbook. This in higher grade you will learn all the labelings. Now I told you our brain is made up of different type of cells. So this is the structure of neuron. Neuron means nervous tissue. Our nervous system is made up of these cells. Again, just learn the diagram and the labeling. Our bones are made up of bone cells. All these diagrams are there in the textbook. Kindly draw them in your classwork. When we talk about the types of the blood cells, we have red blood cells called erythrocytes, white blood cells called leukocytes, and platelets called the thrombocytes. Now here again our white blood cells are neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, lymphocyte and monocyte. So many types of white blood cells are present. Again you will learn in detail in grade 9. Now coming to the striated muscle cells, our limbs are made up of these striated muscle cells. They are voluntary muscles, and of course we have smooth muscles, and we have the cardiac muscles present in the heart. Now I just want to remind you that we have learnt about the plant cell and animal cell. So basically the plant cells looks like this and the animal cell is there. You will learn in detail about the differences, about the cell organelles and their function again in grade 9. So for present only you have to learn the basic labeling of the plant cell and animal cell. The diagrams are there in the textbook. Go through it at the end of the lesson. So what conclusion we can make? The cell of the organisms depends on the size of the organism depends on the number of cells and not on the size of the cell. The cells are of different shape, size and number. There are millions and millions of cells present in one kidney, like that in brain, like that all our organs are made up of millions of cells. The largest cell is the egg of an ostrich and the smallest cell is found in bacteria. Okay, let's do the recap. We have covered unicellular organisms with examples, multicellular organisms with examples, and we have seen the different types of the multicellular cells and the plant cell and animal cell. Now quickly note down the homework. Draw a neat label diagram of amoeba, draw a neat label diagram of nerve cell, and define unicellular and multicellular organisms with examples. I hope you understood the concept and enjoyed watching this video. Thank you very much.